This is going to be a visual exploration of how the drum brakes work on a 2014 Toyota Corolla. So first we'll establish some baselines, and then we'll see how the handbrake works, and how the regular hydraulic brakes work, and see if the auto adjusters work, which is the main point of doing this. I want to find out how they actually work. One thing I want to establish is how far up does the handbrake go. So I'm going to measure the clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's getting hard. 5, 7, 8. That's pretty hard. I'd never go higher than that. Yeah, I can get 9, but that's about it. Yeah, the foot brake action is going to be a lot more speculative, so I'm not going to try and measure that so much. You see I've got my workshop slippers on today. It's all working out great. This is where I'm going to jack up the rear end on the shock, the bottom shock mount. I think it can handle the stress. There's a view with the handle removed. Just a bit of a clearer shot there of where I grabbed the bottom of the shock. Seems to work nice. So taking the wheel off, break all the nuts in the pattern, the 5-star pattern. And I usually put the last nut at the bottom, just hold it with one hand so that they will screw easily, and it flops up. So this is the actual drum that surrounds the brakes. It seems to be nice and loose. So these can rust on. So what I generally do is I get in there and I put grease. I put grease on this surface right there, and a little bit on the hub, just to make sure they don't rust together. So this is the brake cylinder. This is where the hydraulics work. There is a piston on each side. When you pump on the foot brake, the fluid gets pushed in and these shoes expand outwards. They pivot about a fixed point on the bottom. We have some hold down springs, and this silvery looking thing back here, I'll do a better view of that. The silvery looking thing back here attached to the rear shoe is the handbrake lever. It pivots at the top, it rests on the inside against this part of the auto adjuster. There's the auto adjuster with the spring that's surrounding it. And then the handbrake cable itself is down here. It's going to be hard to see, but the handbrake cable gets pulled that way, so that when you pull on the handbrake cable, the silver bracket will move forward and will push this whole assembly forward, pushing the front shoe forward. This whole thing here is the auto adjuster. There is a thin sheet metal plate. I'm touching a bit that pokes through the shoe here. There's a spring for it here, and there's a sheet metal on the back that ends up back here, and that works kind of like a ratchet on this star wheel right here. See if I can zoom in a bit. Sheet metal back there works on this star wheel, so that when the brakes go forward a lot, enough for this piece of sheet metal to click over one of these stars, when you take your foot off the brake, it's supposed to advance the star wheel. Okay, I think this is a better angle, so I'm going to go jump in the car, pull the handbrake on. You should see this silver thing move. That's going to move forward, and I want to see, it's really hard to make out, I want to see if this piece moves relative to that, because that will tell me that the auto adjuster is working. Okay, now we're going to change it up a bit, and I'm going to have my glamorous assistant put her foot on the brake, and it's going to move from here, so I want to see what happens to the auto adjuster. Okay, thank you.
Ready?
Yep. Okay, can you go a little further? That's good. Whoa. And then release. And one more time. Whoa, whoa, stop. Hang on. I've got to fix that. A little bit too far. Sorry. No, it wasn't your fault. So that does not solve the mystery, but I think it explains that when you use the handbrake and this goes forward and pushes this shoe forward against the back one, that the adjuster doesn't click. When you use the foot brake, these go push apart. Actually pushed a bit apart, a bit too far on the last one. I'm going to have trouble getting the drum back on. It does. You could see the wheel moving. This wheel right here. Maybe. Yeah, it's well hidden, isn't it? But this wheel turned, which is the auto adjuster. This piece of sheet metal moved, and it worked on that to keep them a bit further apart. So I'm not sure how this gets held to the back, and I think what's happening on the other car, the high mileage car, is somehow this is getting stuck on the front, so there's no relative movement between this and this pad, this shoe, so it does not auto adjust. So if you had something here that would hold that against this, then it would adjust. That's my theory. That was lucky. I was actually able to get the drum back on. For a moment there I thought it wouldn't go, but it's back on. I'm going to go pump the brakes to center the shoes again, and then I'm going to try some click adjustments on them. Okay, so let's pull it off. Hopefully the pads are now centered. I'm going to do a click adjust on them. 2, 3, 4, 10. Alright, so we're up 10 clicks. I'm going to put the hub back on if I can. Yep, it goes back on, so I'm going to give it another 10 clicks. Okay, that was just an additional 10, and it's just touching a shoe at one point. So I'm going to leave it at that point and see what the handbrake is doing. Okay, so handbrake. Okay, 5 clicks. That's about, maybe I can get the 6th, but it's definitely tightening up the handbrake. Okay, my daughter's car has steel wheels, and they're a lot easier to put back on than these alloy ones. The piloting system on these leaves a lot to be desired. Bad enough as it is. It's even worse when these wheels get bigger, like 17 inches, and on a CX-5. Oh, come on, work with me. Okay, I've got it on the studs, but there we go. Get a couple of threads on it. Slip this around the bottom. That'll work better that way. Okay, it's just a question of putting the others in, torquing them to 76 foot-pounds. 76. Star pattern. And we're done. Now I'm going to put 20 clicks on the other wheel, and I'll do one final video showing the handbrake movement of that one after I put 20 clicks on it. Right, final handbrake test. I had to back off 6 clicks from 20 because I could not get the hub back on, brake hub, so it's only on 14 on that one, but it's about the same position as the right hand side. So 5 is a good pull. Yeah, so it was sit between 6 and 9 on here, and now we're up about 5. So I've taken some of the adjustment out. The wheels are still free turning. All I got to do is try and figure out why my daughter's car needed 44 clicks of adjustment each side. But hey, for 117,000 miles, original brakes, it's pretty amazing.